We are here for race number 2 at the Chinese Grand Prix. We've got a really good one in store today, folks. It should be an absolutely cracking race. China has always produced really good racing in BRL, and I expect nothing less here in the realistic performance tier. As always, it's Deer Hunter on comms and streaming for you. And we are just waiting for all of the drivers to get loaded in here for qualifying. Just waiting on SSR Joe. I believe we have about 15 here today, which is a little less than last week, but we've been averaging about 15 to 17 drivers, I think, for all the tiers for the season, which is still really good. And as we wait for Joe to get in here, some things to talk about from last week. Obviously, the finish was very, very controversial. There's a little bit of a glitch at the end, and nobody really knew who won. But at the end of the day, it ended up being, I'm not sure if our winner is in here today. Let me check real quick. Apologies, between Ginger and Unknown, and it ended up being Ginger who got the win at the end. Ginger not in the race today. I had to do a little bit of a stat check there to see if he was in the race, and he is not. So, possible championship implications, but we are here and ready for qualifying. Some notables for today. Obviously, got Cookie up there in the Red Bull with his teammate Nordal. Wouldn't be surprised to see Joe or Unknown once again, either of them showing out today. Also got to look at that. Look at the AlphaTauri Taylor, who was pretty strong last week as well, and you cannot count out the Ferraris. Who knows what they can do today? Cloudy conditions. Fern was running P6, P7 there at the end, and the McLaren. Be interesting to see what he can do as well, as we get ready for cars to exit the pit lane. And I will try to engage in the chat. Obviously my chat name is JoeP Racing 77, going off my personal account for the Twitch. So rack in the comments, boys. I've already got a few people tuning in. And nobody going out real early, except for, here we go, we see Sergeant Milk in the Haas now. I'd expect, with how cloudy it is and even a bit foggy, you can see, I'd expect to see some people jumping out early. There might be a chance of rain. I do not know, but we will see. Currently, Sergeant Milk, the only one venturing out on the softs. And I would not be surprised to see a mixture of one-stop and two-stop strategy. Some people, if they're buried in the pack, obviously outside the top 10, go and do the one-stop on the harder compound tires. But if you're up near the front and you're prone to damaging the tires by overheating, overwear, would not be surprised to see a couple people try the two-stop. Got Phantom out as well in the Racing Point, overtaking a couple cars. Got the AlphaTauri of Q-Man as well, venturing out. But it appears Sergeant Milk is going to be the first one to go out on track. And he starts to begin his lap momentarily. I think this would be a pretty easy Q1, only everybody makes it through, obviously. So, just set one lap and see how the setup is, see if you maybe need to adjust anything with the front wing, because that is the only adjustment you can do. Get a feel for the track, and you should be able to easily make it into Q. Obviously, you will make it into Q2, but then the pressure starts to build for Q3. See what kind of lap Sergeant Milk can put up here. Obviously, he is in the Haas, so I expect him to be probably around 11th or 12th, maybe. Seeming how we only have one Alfa Romeo and one Williams here today. Yellow flag, Sector 1. And it appears we may have another driver joining mid-qualifying, so that might actually shake up how easy you need to be to get to Q2. May not just be a walk in the park. Sergeant Milk goes down the long back straightaway. Great passing opportunity heading into the hairpin. And let's see what kind of lap he can put up here. I'd say a low to mid 30 maybe for the softs. Maybe a high 30 can do it. Oh, as he invalidates out of the final corner. He's going to be really disappointed in that. Phantom about 2/3 of the way through his lap here. And he has aborted his run, actually. So let's go on board with Taylor. He's on an out lap as well. Skeppy has joined, as well as a couple other drivers. So we now have 18 on track as Q-Man goes to the top. So 3 people will now be eliminated. So now it is a fight to get into Q2 as Q-Man goes way off the track there. What are you doing there, buddy? Skeppy on an out lap. Sergeant Milk going through Sector 1 again. Phantom has aborted on the racing line. I'd get off of there if I was him. Swifty in the Alfa Romeo goes to the top. See who else we can get on a flyer. A lot of people just are starting their laps now or on out laps. Here's Neudel is on a lap, but he has invalidated. So I think the next person we got is Taylor in the AlphaTauri. Taylor Clan coming out of the snail section, a very tricky section to put the power down. I'm being told it's a wet race, actually, so that could very much so change the dynamic of this qualifying session by how much of a balanced setup do you use. And also, for that Alfa Romeo of Swifty Pickle, he did that on the mediums. Not too bad. As we see Taylor Clan coming down to the start-finish line, what does he do? He rockets up into P1 with a 31.8. And then Ritzy immediately jumps him in the run-out with a 31.5. The times are starting to tumble. Cookie in Sector 1. Skeppy in Sector 3. And he'll pull into the pits. Neudel in Sector 2. Unknown in Sector 3. He sets a purple Sector 2. Unknown on a very good lap in the Mercedes. Fern rockets up to P4. A little bit off than what I'd expect for the McLaren driver. Already up to 21 viewers. Let's hit that goal of 65 to 70, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can hit 50 by the time qualifying ends. Unknown coming out of the penultimate corner. Tries to hit the apex. He does out of the final corner. What can he do? He goes up to P4 with a 32.5 right behind Q-Man. I'd expect a little better out of the Mercedes driver. Cookie who finished P3 at Bahrain last week. You see a light lockup head into the penultimate corner. On the medium tires, I might add. He likes this place very much. Neudel goes to the top. What does Cookie do? He goes to P2. Only 3/100ths separating P1 and P2 on two totally different compounds of tires. Meanfern on another lap on the soft. See if we can catch anybody before him, though. No, we can't, so we'll go back to Fern. Trying to improve on the lap. Second lap on these tires. Neudel did 2 laps on the softs and he made it work. Good qualifying tire, bad race tire. Had a slight lock up there in the penultimate corner. It's going to hurt the lap. He does improve, though, to a 32.6. Cookie getting held up there, but I think he's pretty much aborted. Raffle starting a lap in the Pink Panther. Skeppy's on a lap. No, he's not actually. He's on an out lap. My apologies. You get really confused when the dots are so small in the right-hand corner on the mini-map. You get confused of exactly where everybody is. 8 minutes remain in this Q1, quickly dwindling. See who we got now. I believe Raffle is about halfway through another lap here on the softs. Let's see what kind of Sector 2 time he puts up. Looking about on par with going about P6, P7. Maybe a little bit behind that. Struggling for traction out of the snail section, which is crucial because if you get a good exit and a good launch out of the snail section, it means you're able to rocket down the back straightaway. Hard braking into the hairpin. Try to be as tidy as possible. Put the throttle down as quick as you dare. And he'll come into the pits. He realized he was not going to improve enough. We still have, now we're up to 19 drivers, so 4 drivers are now going to be out of queue number 1. Skeppy's on a lap. It appears Reptile goes to P8 in the Haas. I'd say if you're top 5 on up, I'd feel pretty safe right now. Even maybe top 8 on up. If you're hitting a mid-32 or higher, I'd say I'd feel pretty good. You got Skeppy on a lap entering sector number 2. Sergeant Milk has invalidated his lap. That's not what you want to see for the Haas driver. Ginger Horizon is on a lap on the mediums in the Ferrari, heading through he's on that out lap through sector number 2. Burrops, the Williams driver who shocked everybody by making it into Q3 and then running up in the top 10 during the race. What can he do in the line? He goes P9 with a 33.6. Horizon on his out lap continuing. Sergeant Milk's going to try another one here. Skeppy through sector 3. Might get a little bit of toe down this back straightaway. Oh, Skeppy, no. Oh, gosh. My word. What has happened to the second Williams driver? Wow. I've never seen that before. Items is on a lap in the Renault. Couldn't do anything. That was so weird with Skeppy. I didn't even look like he broke loose. It just looked like he swerved into the wall. That might be sending him a trip to the stewards after the race for maybe intentionally wrecking himself. Everybody else sort of just chilling at the moment. Like I said, if you're hitting, if you're Mean Fern on up, I'd feel pretty safe, especially with the fact that 2 people are DNF'd in P15 and P18. See if we got anybody able to improve. Adams has been able to close it back up just a little bit, but he's still a second down, and yep, going really wide in the penultimate corner will not help things. Sergeant Milk continuing on with another lap. Same with Ginger Horizon. We'll go on board with Milk first. See what kind of time he puts up here. Phantom says he has a GP4 engine in his car. Now, Phantom, you're in a 2019 Mercedes. I'd say that's F1 material. Now let's see what Sergeant Milk does. Just trying to get a clean lap right here. What does he do? Goes up to P12 with 37.3, and somehow that's currently in right now. But he's going to want more. See what Ginger Horizon done on a much better lap. Arguably something to contend with the top 4 with right now on the medium tire, I might add. Can he get a good corner here? Surprised he doesn't invalidate. Run up to the line, and it is, he lost a little bit there. I think he backed out of it to make sure he didn't get an invalidation. But I'd say he's safe with a 32.615. Sergeant Milk not improving through Sector 1. Looks like Unknown is a 10th up through Sector 2, and he goes purple through Sector 2. Ring the bell. We have a good lap going. Can he hold it? Really using the muscle of that Mercedes coming out of the corner. Going down the long back straightaway. Depending on the wings you're running, the downforce, it can make or break your lap. Literally, around here. So you got to use that fine line between having low downforce but able to get through the first and middle sector. How good of a corner does he go? It is beautiful. Running up to the line. Does he clinch it? He goes P3 in the Mercedes. Good lap indeed. A lot of drivers still in the pits with 2.5 minutes to go. Sergeant Milk, he's got to be worried. He's not going to be able to get back out there. Raffle appears to be on another lap in the racing point. Getting the crunch time here. He's currently sitting at a 1:43.5. If he can knock up ahead of a 38.2. Every driver set a lap right now. So if he can beat a 38.2, he'll be all right. He's out of the arrest. Can he jump up in the top 10 to be safe? He does. He goes to P7. That should be a safe lap right there. I'll tell you what is so close in the midfield right now. So close. Q-Man down on his time through Sector 2. Ginger on a in-lap. It's me on an out-lap. Q-Man able to close it in. He's even in the AlphaTauri. He's sitting at a 32.4, which I'd feel pretty safe with right now. Heck, if I'm 11th on up, I feel pretty good. I feel really good. Q-Man just trying to dial the car in potentially. See if he can set a better lap here. Any improvement will help. Run up to the line. Doesn't improve. Went down by 1/4 of a second. Ginger on an improvement. Currently a 10th up. Goes middle sector again. Purple, purple, purple. Might add on the mediums he is as well. But the first and third sector aren't too great on the medium tires. Because you have to have the traction. Slight lock up with the right front. A little bit of traffic ahead. Shouldn't hurt him too much. What can he do? The run up to the line, maybe a little bit of slipstream. He jumps up into P7 beside his teammate. All right, 30 seconds to go, boys. If you haven't set a lap, you need to. Zoo is on a lap. Reptile on a lap, heading through Sector 3. Does he? He's starting an out lap, apologies. So he's going to be really close to the line. Swifty, 10th and 1/4 up. He needs to make sure he's safe. Sergeant Milk might just make it to the line in time. Does he? To start a lap. This is going to be really close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He just will. So time has expired. All laps count. It's me as the first of the drivers on the bubble. Looks like Wibes is not even going to attempt to make it. Phantom jumps up into P13 with a 33.7. I don't know if that'll be enough. We're going to pay attention to the bubble drivers here. It's Me is 1.3 seconds up. He needs to beat a 34.9. Currently, he is not doing that. Sergeant Milk sits in a half tenths up through the first sector. Swifty Pickle is 3/4 of a second up. That'll be enough to get him in to Q number 2. He's currently sitting on the hot seat. Raffle P8. Phantom P13. Can he hold on and make it into Q2 for a second week in the row? Swifty around the final corner. Does he break in and secure his spot? He jumps into P14. It's going to be close. Burrops has invalidated his lap. He might have to be careful. We've got 2 more drivers who potentially can. It's Me couldn't break through. You got 2 more drivers, so if you're P13 on up, you're safe. Coming down to Swifty, Reptile, and Sergeant. Reptile improved the time. Yes, sir. He jumps up into P14 to Sergeant Milk improve. He needs to improve by 3.5 seconds. Currently, he's only a second and a half up. Coming out of the final corner. Does he do it? No. He stays P16. And that is going to do it for Q1. Phantom, Reptile, and Swifty just sneaking into Q2, and a little over half a second back is Sergeant in the Haas. Tell you what, though, it is really close. You have sections, it looks like. You got P5 to P11, separated by just 8.5 tenths of a second. And then you've got P12 down to P15, separated by just 1/10.5. Even that, no, not even that, less than a tenth, separating 5 drivers there. So this is going to be a really good race. And now we actually have 20 drivers who have joined. So we are going to have a full grid, ladies and gentlemen. Get the confetti can out, because we got a full grid, ladies and gentlemen, for China. Got the chat saying Burrops into Q2 again. He snuck in there with P12. Can he get into Q3 though? As we see Sergeant Milk, looks like he's attempting another lap. Not allowed to do that once time has expired, but it might be his AI. Might be his AI. And here we go, the top 15 making it through to Q2. You got Noidal, Cookie, Unknown, Ritzy, Taylor. And I tell you, I think these 5 guys right here are going to be contenders for the podium. I think especially Noidal, Cookie, and Unknown. I mean, look at Cookie. He did a 31.2 on the mediums. Also, don't count out FinFan or Ginger. I think they could sneak up there too. So I genuinely think we have about 4 or 5 drivers who could win this race. Then you got Raffle, Q-Man, Fern, top 10, Zoo, Burrops, in 11 and 12, Phantom P13, Reptile P14, and Swifty in P15. Tell you, watch this group about 8th to 15th. It's going to be really interesting to see who makes it through to Q3. And as we get set for, well, I'm only seeing 13 drivers now. I'm not sure why there's only 13 instead of 15. I think it might be because of how many drivers the session started off with. So, wow, Wow, that means 14th and 15th. Phantom made it through. That means P14 and P15 are out, actually. So it's just going to be the top 13 moving on. Wow. So this shakes things up a bit. So we start to see drivers once again go out. This is when you set your time on the tire you want to start the race on. And then you got some drivers, like I said, them drivers probably about 7th or 8th on back. They're going to be more willing to start on the softs just to make sure they get into Q3. Because if you start, let's say 6th on the grid, it's a huge difference between starting there and starting 10th. So if you think you might be able to start, 10th, 11th, 12th, it's better to just maybe save your stuff and get a fresh set of tires, since you know there's only 3 drivers outside of the top 10. So the worst you can start is 13th. But if, like I said, if you're starting P5, P6, huge difference. It may be only 2 rows of the grid, 2 or 3 rows, but it makes such a huge difference in these F1 races. Bosch Cookie goes out in the Red Bull. We've got Neudel as well. And I think Ritzy might possibly be... No? Trying to see who the first true person is out on a lap. It's actually Phantom. My apologies. The Pink Panther looked like the Renault for a second. I was confused. So we see Phantom. He just snuck into Q2 though. Top 13 though, which is pretty good. See if he can replicate it in this session. Obviously purple sector 2. I think if he can get into the 32s, Phantom's going to be ecstatic, because that's going to be a monumental improvement upon what his time was in Q1. But even further than that, that puts him up in that midst with that group from about 6th down to 11th and puts him in contention. Heading down to the penultimate corner. I mean, heck, even for this lap, he's going to have 2 more cracks at a lap. Even if he can run a low 33, that'll be just a confidence booster as he goes around the final corner. Meanfern has been disqualified, but what does Phantom do? He goes up to a 32.5. That puts him in contention, I think. Wow, I did not expect that out of Phantom. Good lap by the Tier 4 Bahrain winner as Neudel surpasses him on the medium tires. A little bit of insult to injury to Phantom. He did that on the mediums. You got Cookie heading through Sector 1. Taylor through Sector 1. Fin Fan in the Ferrari goes to the top with a 31.7. Raffle coming out of the final corner in the Pink Panther. He can only muster P4, 3/4 of a second off his teammate. He's going to be disappointed with that. Burap still hanging in the pits. Zoo in the McLaren. What does he do? It's a 32.3. Not bad for the driver. He picked up a little bit of time. I think he'll be happy with that. Unknown currently going. Q-Man, with a little bit of a tank slapper. Swifty heading through Sector 2, but let's go on board with Unknown. Actually, he's on an outlap, I believe. So we got 12 drivers now vying for 10 spots. Makes it a little bit easier on the guys. But still, if you can make it to Q3, it's a pretty tall feat. Even the manager's getting involved with the drivers, saying, how in the world did if they qualified top 15, why aren't they going in Q2? I think the game bases off how many start. And we had like 15 start. And I think they just made it to where, obviously Q2, Q3, it goes down to 10. I think they just made it 13. They rounded up from 12.5 to 13. So that's what they started off as. So it actually doesn't surprise me. So I should have known that. My apologies. We got Swifty. Oh, he might have gotten in trouble there with the McLaren driver of Zoo. He only musters P8. Because you got Cookie. He went to the top with a 30.1. That is a monumental lap, to say the least. He did that on the softs. Wow. Good lap by the Red Bull driver. Very good lap. Noidle looks like he's going for a second lap here, the fellow Red Bull driver. Only up by a 10th, though, as he goes through the middle sector. You got Q-Man going through Sector 1. How does his look compared to Cookie? 24.3, not terrible. Switzy Pickle, once again, he's invalidated, though. Go with Noidle. He's a 10th down now. Let's see if he can bring it back here and possibly move ahead of Taylor and FinFan. But that'll mean he'll have 3 or 4 laps on these tires once you include in and out laps. Exactly, Interior. Since they moved in late, the game still based it off how many there were initially, which were 15, which was correct in saying that there were going to be 13 move on. So, as we stay on board with Noidle, he is out of ERS. Oh, he goes very wide and he invalidates. That was a no-no. Big no-no. Q-Man in AlphaTauri. Let's say if he can be up there around that P5, P6 range, that'd be right about where you need to be. And what can he do? He jumps up in there P5. It's actually about where I said. I think that'll be right around the bubble in that 5th to 7th range right there. About a mid, a low mid 32, I'd say. Be right where you want to be. Got Burrops in the Williams, the underdog. The Mr. George Russell himself, if he was a sim racer. Just carrying that Williams. Last week had a really good performance. Once again, showing some excellent qualifying performance. 24.5 that first sector. See if we got anybody else on a lap that's valid. And we don't, so we'll go back on board with Burrops. See what kind of middle sector he can pull out here. If he can do like a 52 or so, just in the 52 range, it'd be a pretty good middle sector. It is, it's a 52.4. That's about where you need to be right in that about 6th to 7th place range. Ritzy went up there into P8. It's going to be really close there. Like I said, P5 to P8. And you got a couple 10th gap to the guys from P2 to P4. And let's see where Burrops can slot in here. 6 minutes remaining. Like I said, all you got to do is beat 2 people. And you move on to Q3. Let's see what he does. Needs to be a low 32. It's not. It's going to be a 33 flat. That means Burrops is going to have to go out again. He was actually a little bit slower than I thought he'd slide in. I'd say, actually, if you want to be comfortable, I'll say sits on up. Sits on up is going to be comfortable. If you're in a low 32, I'll say you're fine. But you got these boys, Phantom, Ritzy, Burrops, and Raffle are all boys to play here. Also, you got Unknown as well on a lap here, so let's see where he slots in. This will be crucial. And you got Swifty quite a bit off the pace as well. But this is going to be really interesting to see where Unknown can slot in here. Really tricky through the double left-hander. I know personally for me, it's one of my toughest spots on track. He actually sets the purple middle sector. 51.6. So if I'm seeing this, I'm starting to get a little bit worried if I'm about Phantom on down. Because all those guys could beat each other, I think. Slight lockup heading into the penultimate corner. Really good power drive off. Really good. Got a little bit of ERS to play with heading up to the line. Nice and clean, nice and safe. What does he do? He jumps up into P2. Really good lap for the Mercedes driver. We got, as we see, Swifty. Now, let's see what kind of first sector he does. He sits in a half tenths up. That's what we need to see. Yeah, like I said, I definitely think it's going to be Phantom, Ritzy, and Burrups and Raffle. Those 4 drivers fighting it out for 9th through 12th. Obviously, you got to be top 10. Phantom said, I'm faster than you. Then Phantom, then why are you in Tier 4? And I'm in Tier 1. Explain to me that. As we see Swifty a second up. Now, that's exactly what we need to see. He is on par to, he's 5.1 seconds off, and a second will put him on par with about Burrups and Raffle. So if he can continue on with a good Sector 3, he might just beat Burrups, which would put him in the top 10, but it's going to be close. He could be right in front of him. He could be a few tenths down from Raffle. And he's actually going to come into the pits. Wow. So that means it's going to be very close whether or not really close whether or not he's actually going to be able to get back out there. Raffle's on the lap. He sits tenths up. So we could have a deal where possibly Zoo on down is really close. 2.1 down to 2.8. That's 3/4 of a second. That's actually pretty close around here. Got Axe is saying he's going to be kicked from the Red Bull program. Hoop, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Don't pull a natural Red Bull and kick drivers like Pato O'Ward got sacked. Raffle coming out of the final corner. What can he do? Does he propel himself? Yes, he does. P5. That's going to be safe. That is going to be safe. All right, now if I'm Q-Man and Zoo, I'm going to start getting a little bit worried here. I don't think Swifty can break in. Just my personal. I don't think he can. But these guys down here, Phantom, Ritzy, they're both on top of each other. You got Burrups, who I definitely think can find the time. I think he can find a second, to be honest. He can find the time. And think, these guys right here are only about 1/4 second ahead of that. So if I'm Q-Man and Zoo, I'm going to go out, and it appears they're not going to go out. So they're going to leave their fate into the hands of these drivers. Swifty is actually going out for a lap now, too. I think he might just make it. It's going to be close. But, yep, it's going to be down to 9th on down, or putting fate into their own hands here. Norda going to go out in the Red Bull. He's P6. Unknown. Where is he? He's going to go for an out lap. My apologies. Less than a minute remaining. So these laps are going to be the final ones of this session. Ritzy currently 8 tenths up. Like I said, I think several of these drivers can go 3/4 of a second quicker, half a second quicker. That'd put them safely up there into the top 5. A couple of the top drivers quit. They think they're safe. I'm really surprised to see Z-Man and Q to leave their fate into these other drivers. I would have gone out after seeing the performance by Raffle and Unknown. Coming out of the final corner, very good lap for Ritzy, assuming he doesn't invalidate. What does he do as he comes up to the line? He goes P3. That's going to be really good. That's a really good lap. Noidal is putting his fate into himself. Purple Sector 2. You got Phantom and Burrups on the lap. Phantom is 3.5 tenths up. Burrups in the Williams. He's a couple of tenths up. Swifty made it across the line in time, I believe. He's going to have another crack at it. First of these drivers is Noidal. Lap times will count. What does Nordal do? This is just for a little bit of insurance, I would think. He's already way out of ERS. Let's see, what can he do? Can it be in the 31s? It's a 30. It's a 30.5. He matches his teammate pretty much. They're within 3/10. Good lap for Nordal. Sue and Q-Man are in the danger zone. Phantom on a lap in the Pink Panther. He was 5/10 up out of the middle sector. That'll put him into Q number 3. Can Phantom have his first Q3 appearance of the season? What does he do? Coming out of the final corner, ERS and throttle wide open. He goes up into P8. Will that be enough? We still have 2 drivers remaining. No, that will put him safe. That's P8. He's safe. What does Burrops do? He stays P11. The Williams driver does not pull the upset and still remains Q2. Phantom is safe. Burrops is out. Q-Man is safe. It comes down between Zoo and Swifty. Swifty needs to gain a mega 3 seconds to make it work, but we've seen crazy things happen before. He absolutely chucks the car in the final corner. It's the run up to the line. No, it's only P12. He misses out by half a second or 3/4 of a second. He couldn't do it. Phantom knocking out Burrops there. Burrops could not gain the time, and he only is P11. Sad Pepe emojis and emotes. Sad Pepe emotes in the chat, please. Sad Pepe. Stays P11. Zoo and Q-Man end up being safe, P9 and P10, but they just make it in, P9 and P10. Raffle and Phantom, both of the racing points making in. Both the AlphaTauris making in. Both Red Bulls making in. And both the Renault, McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes making in as well. Just waiting for time to expire here because the drivers in the pits decide not to retire once everybody has crossed the line. And here we go. This is your top 10. Cookie and Noidle just laying it down there. P1 and P2. Got Unknown, Ritzy, FinFan, Taylor, Raffle, Phantom, Q-Man, Zoo, all really close. And just a couple tenths back is Burrops, P11. And Swifty was able to close in there. He gained over 2 seconds there in the final moments to get close. Just quite couldn't do it for the Alfa Romeo driver. And Fern disqualified himself. Fern, a regular of B-Roll Tier 1. That's actually very surprising to see. Apologies, had to step away for a second. We are back for Q3. These are the top 10 drivers in the realistic performance. China, pretty fun track, always produces really exciting racing. I tell you what, I am so excited because it is going to be knockout qualifying at its finest because we got the 10 best. We took them down to 13 after Q1, then we took them down to 10 after Q2, and here we go. We got the best of this best for this race weekend here to duke it out for. And just another update, rain the entire race. Wow. So we could see a bit of a mix up here in qualifying. For example, on 2019, I was really good in the rain. So I'd always qualify a little bit back in qualifying, but my setup would always work well for the rain in the race. Now in 2020, I'm not as good of a rain racer, for example. So my qualifying abilities are a little bit better, especially in the dry. But when it comes to the rain, I'm going to drop like a rock. So some drivers are better in the rain, some are better in the dry, and some have their setups differently to correctly predict the weather. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And don't worry, Rhodes, I've got me a full water bottle beside me ready to go. And one of the first to go is Cookie. But we'll look on Taylor. He's actually heading through the first Snell section. (24-1), pretty good first sector. We got an update from one of the managers, BRL Williams, better known as Ferrari Nut, who is the manager for Racing Point, saying a lot of Canadian pesos. So a little bit of a mixture there between Canada and Mexico. Canadian pesos. They said they chucked a lot of them at the team for this race weekend, trying to improve the car. So tell me, Ferrari, how much of Mercedes 2019 car did y'all steal? Let me know in the comments. So we got Taylor still on with a very good lap heading through the middle sector. I believe Zoo starting his lap now. I thought he might have been on a fast one. 51.6, pretty good sector 2 for Taylor. If he can do a lap in the 30s here, it'll be pretty good. Really tidy out of the final corner. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a 31.7. Wow. And Fin immediately beats him with a 30.2. We might be able to get into the 29s, ladies and gentlemen. And he does with Cookie at a 29.9 in the Red Bull. Noidle, his teammate, with a 30.3. Fin in the Ferrari able to separate the Red Bulls. You got Q-Man, Taylor's teammate, locks himself into P5. Ritzy, P6. Phantom head down the back straight away in the Canadian pesos. 2019 Mercedes Pink Panther. Raffle goes to P7 with a 33 flat. He's going to be disappointed with that. Zoo in the middle sector. Let's see what Phantom can do. Stealing, copying, same thing in the F1 world. And oh, he had to be very careful there, and he invalidated. It wouldn't have mattered. He would have been last. Zoo in the McLaren on a lap. If I'm Zoo here, I'd expect to slide in about P5, P6. It's what it expected out of him in Q2. Run up to the line. Actually looks a little bit better than that possibly. He goes up into P5 with a 32 flat. And I don't think anybody else is going to do a second lap on these softs. So you obviously get another set for making it into Q3. Up to 36 viewers. That's absolutely fantastic to see. Let's see if we can get up to about 45 to 50 by the end of qualifying. That'd be absolutely huge. Be sure, guys, to share if you're watching on Twitch. Share to Twitter, share to Instagram, share to Facebook. Just share in general. Tell your friends and family. Tell them, watch the best sim racing league in North America. So we got Unknown on an outlap now. So you're just seeing how close the action is, just getting me so excited. Such great racing, especially at China. Ferrari not saying, we stole nothing, we know nothing. Huh. Is that why your drivers can barely make it into Q3? Is that how bad your engineering skills are? I did hear you did work for a Toyota company, so that would not surprise me seeing how much y'all stole from BMW. This time, you're stealing from Mercedes in the F1 world. Here we go, Unknown Mute, starting on a lap in the Mercedes. We have not seen a lot out of him until he got into Q2. So can he repeat it in Q3 and break up the Red Bulls and Ferraris? Here we go on a lap. Out of the first nail section, the first couple corners, very tricky at the end of this first sector. You got to go really wide. Purple sector 1, ring, 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 ring that bell. Purple sector 1 for the Mercedes driver. He executed that nicely. Can he continue up the flow through the middle sector? He's got a driver ahead. Please get out of the way. Very tight. Double left-hand corners. He had to really back up the entry there. Please, Racing Point, I think it is. Get out of the way. Purple sector 2. Let's see if the Racing Point, the sister Mercedes, does he give him a bit of slipstream instead of dirty air? It's going to be Phantom. Does Phantom give him the slipstream? Phantom actually doing 2 laps on these tires, so he's not actually on an in lap. Phantom is on a lap himself. That could hurt Unknown. Unknown getting a good slipstream down the back straightaway. We'll watch him here in sync. Unknown's just praying, please don't mess up this final sector, Phantom. I want a good clean run to the line because he has set 2 purple sectors. He's going to get a little bit dirty air. Phantom wrecks out of the final corner, but what does Unknown do? He lost time through the 3rd sector. It's only P4 for the Mercedes driver. That's all he can muster. Now we got a couple more drivers on outlaps, and Phantom, how could you? You wrecked out of the final corner. That's so disappointing. At least he made it into Q3, ladies and gentlemen. Give claps for Phantom for at least making it into Q3. He absolutely had to dog that Racing Point, as you can see by Raffle, sitting at a 33 flat in P9. F in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, for Phantom. F in the chat. We lost a good one today. A Tier 4 driver who thinks he can run with the big boys in Tier 2. Yeah, Unknown was purple. He was purple the first 2 sectors. And then he literally lost a 2.5 through Sector 3. That just shows you can get a good slipstream down that back straightaway. But if you're too far, if you're too close, within 5 or 6 seconds actually, it could hurt you. And you could wind up getting dirty air. It looks like Unknown actually going for another lap here. Might not be, actually. Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's going to pull into the pits. Raffle now in the Pink Panther Mercedes, 10th and a half up. And if he can continue on that trend, might be able to slot in between P7 and P8. Really having to feather that throttle. Nice turn in here through the double left-hander. A lot of drivers been struggling there. And I know for me, for example, practicing for my Tier 1 race, it's been very challenging. Raffle is second up now. That could be cracking on for maybe a top 5 here if he can continue through Sector 3. Really good exit, actually. What has Racing Point thrown into their car? Let's see what he can do here. Hard on the brakes before the penultimate corner. Ferrari Knight's going to be watching this lap closely. What can his driver do with a minute and a half left? He's out of VRS, run up to the line. What will it be? It's P5 with a 31.6. That's about where I think he'd expect his driver to be. Wow, Phantom said his tires were done too. They had 25%. Phantom, I don't think you're supposed to do a lap in Q3 on 25% tires, but hey, you do you to make it into Q3. Got the run up now of Ritzy on a lap. I think Cookie is on a lap too. Yes, sir, through the middle sector. He's a 10th and a quarter up. Now he lost a bit. He's down to only 2 100ths up. He does have a challenge, though, from FinFan and Nordal, though, I believe. A minute left before time expires. Chandler saying to cheer on the Ferraris, how about you slip me a 10 after the race, and then we'll discuss. Boss Cookie trying to improve his lap to secure pole position. Can he do it, though? Out of the final corner. Really sketchy. He's already out of VRS. Does he improve? He does to a 29.5. That's going to be tough to beat. Neudel is down on his lap heading through Sector 2. That is not what you want to see. FinFan is starting his lap in the Ferrari. Raffle, he is done and ended his lap. Q-Man done. Ritzy, he is on a lap. He's going to get blocked, though, by Unknown. No. Mercedes, get out of the way. Unless he's oh, wait, he's on an out lap as well. Oh, both these drivers cutting it close. Ritzy on a lap, though. He lost a bit of time. What does he improve to? He jumps all the way up to P5. Unknown just makes the time in line in time to start a lap. All of these laps will count. Neudel stays P3. Finfran, half a tenth up through Sector 1. Cookie might be trying another lap just for laughs and giggles. Neudel is done. Raffle is done. Where does he slot in? Unknown is a 10th up. Ritzy not improving. Taylor, let's see what he can do through the middle sector. He's 2/10 up. That can slot him up possibly up into the second row of the grid. FinFan is going to be the first of the guys to finish this lap. He is 3.5 tenths up. He needs about 3 more tenths if he wants to have a crack at Cookie. He's really got to lay it all on the line here. He drives it in deep. He drives it in deep in the penultimate corner. Does he get on the power early? Yes, sir, he does. Heading to the final corner. He chucks it in there. It's worth up to the line. It's a 29.7. He couldn't do it. He could not do it. Cookie has aborted his lap. We got Ritzy. He is done. Taylor, he jumps up into P4. He did it. Second row of the grid. What does his teammate do? He is done. That is it. That is qualifying. Wow. Wow. Cookie was able to improve, and he needed to do that because FinFan was going to beat him. Excellent job by FinFan. They're separated by just a second, 10th and 3/4. Neudel, P3. Neudel, he's going to be disappointed. He's nearly 8.5 tenths down of his teammate. That's going to be having his manager looking at his rep sheet. Taylor, excellent job in the AlphaTauri. You really got a top three or so who are really in command. And you've got Taylor there in P4, who's really, you got P4 on down who are really close. You got Taylor there in P4, Unknown right there P5, Ritzy P6, Raffle P7, and you got a bit of a gap there to Zoo in P8, Q-Man P9, and then Phantom who just squeezed into Q3 but attempted to do a lap on 25% tires, which is never going to work. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The 10 drivers, and also look at these 10. You've got Indian, you've got Jamaican, you've got Canadian, Mexican, and Phantom. You've got the wrong flag there, mate. I mean, so much diversity in BRL. I think we've actually got like 20 different nationalities between all of BRL, 25 maybe. It's actually really cool. But the top 10, Cookie, FinFan, Neudel. FinFan and Cookie are going to be really close in the race. Neudel just trying to scrape the podium. Then Taylor, Unknown, Ritzy, Raffle, Zoo, Q-Man, and Phantom closing out your top 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments, say who you think is going to be on the podium. Already got drivers cheering on Burrods. Everybody loves the underdog Burrods. As we get set here, and there's the rain. Tell you what, I like racing in the rain and karting. As we got 50 viewers now, absolutely incredible. I said by the end of qualifying, can we get 50? We're at 50. But on the game, not so much. It's not so easy to drive an F1 car in the rain as it is karting. People are saying unknown, Cookie, and Raffle. That's a good thought. People are saying Raffle possibly winning. Cookie or Fin Fan. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say top 3 are gonna be Cookie, Fin Fan. Who else? Who else do I think? I'm gonna go Cookie, Fin Fan, and Taylor. Cookie, Fin Fan, Taylor in that order. Assuming Cookie doesn't mess up, which he does a lot. I mean, like a lot. So I'm putting a lot of faith in you, Cookie. Who's the Red Bull manager? Who's the Red Bull manager? Hoop. Tell Cookie that I've got him as my pick to win. So he better not mess up, or else I'll disown him. As the drivers get set, everybody on the intermediate says, Wibes has already been disqualified. What are you doing there, son, to get disqualified? This is going to be one heck of a race. Chandler, the Ferrari manager, saying that Cookie's going to dominate the race. Wow, Chandler, no faith in your driver, Fin Fan? Wow. Shows what kind of manager you are. Taylor P1, Williams on the podium. If Burrops can somehow, or Skeppy can somehow drag that Williams onto the podium today, then it will be one of the most incredible scenes that I've ever seen in sim racing. Like, honestly. Taylor P1, unknown P1. Who knows? Cookie could wreck out so easy. He's done it in almost every race in Tier 1 he's participated in. So, I mean, Chandler's saying he's on a controller. He is, in fact. A lot of drivers are. We got a good mixture of drivers between on the controller and the pad, but obviously on this game, controller's OP in the rain, obviously. Especially at China. China's a little bit better for the pad anyway. And of course in the rain it's gonna be really Cookie's got a really good shot at this win. All right, guys. Also in the chat, y'all have said, great job responses, by the way, who y'all think will get on the podium and win. How many safety cars will there be? How many safety cars? As we get SETI ready for the drivers take the grid. That's the prediction. So you can do the 2-stop, but not a lot of people are going to do that. Most people are going to split it right in the middle as all the cars begin the mid-pack. Going here, we got a couple drivers really delaying on the back of the grid here. All the drivers getting in line as we get ready to go. Stewards are going to have to watch that in the back. Drivers waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the lights. 3, 4, 5. And it's lights out, and away we go, and Fin Fan and Cookie both with drivers. The top 2 in the race both have to serve drive. They both jump started. That makes Nordal the provisional leader. They're 2 and 3 wide in the back, already touching. You got Ritzy and Unknown going, oh, they're touching. Stop touching, guys. These are F1 cars, not NASCARs. 3 wide in the back, the McLaren, the AlphaTauri, the Williams dicing it up. Burrops up, there is any strength to it. Wides gets disqualified. That's not good to see for Alfa Romeo. As we go back in the grid, Burrops looking up the inside of the AlphaTauri, still scrapping for pieces. You see him battling in the back of the McLaren, the Racing Point, the AlphaTauri. We got a yellow flag, Sector 1. Keep it clean, boys. Keep it clean. We got the Haas and the Alfa Romeo. Got the McLaren and the AlphaTauri here battling. Phantom trying to take charge here as well in the Racing Point. As we go back up toward the front, Nordal is your provisional leader of the race. With Fin Fan and Cookie having to serve drive-thrus, that basically loses them 15 seconds right there. 15 to 20 seconds. Going back through the field. battling in the back. Joe and Q-Man. Oh, you can't see anything back here as we got the Alfa Romeo up the inside of the Haas. Pushes them a little bit wide. And I'll tell you, Cookie and FinFan here, if they're smart, they'll try to work together here and pull away a little bit, maybe gain 3 or 4 seconds before having to pit. And don't worry about the grid, folks. It's just going through the stupid after lap 1 thingamabobber. Juan says if Taylor doesn't win, he's setting the car up for adoption. No, please no Adopto Reno for the AlphaTauri. It just wants to be a Red Bull. It just wants to grow into a it just wants to grow and become a Red Bull. See, absolutely scrapping like crazy back here, like alligators in the Amazon River. Got the Ferrari of Horizon trying to go for a move up the inside of Phantom. He does. Phantom trying to cover off Joe. Joe's up his inside now. They're side by side. Joe makes the pass work. Phantom dropping like a rock. But that's typical of a racing point. We've got the Skeppy way in the back. He's really messing up. Is Noidal up there in the P2. He must have gotten around FinFan. They're scrapping it out side by side. Noidal can't quite make it work. Late on the brakes does go FinFan. He gets it stopped in time. As we got a yellow flag, Sector 3 as well. Appears that might be Sergeant Milk. As we got an absolute log jam. Cookie and FinFan have to pit this lap, or the next lap. FinFan actually in the pits now. This is going to drop them all the way down to about P18 or P17. Horizon trying to make up ground. He's trying to get around both McLarens. Both currently sitting in the points. They don't want to give that up. Their manager really going to be on them here. Ginger Relentless took a half-hearted peek. He's got to be careful, though. He's got shots as well. FinFan did drop his P17. Norla's already 5 seconds behind Cookie, and I expect that to grow. So I would not be surprised considering FinFan is right on the cusp with P16. That Cookie could come out of this deal about P13, P14, right behind this battle. Yellow flag, sectors 1 and 2, and that's Skeppy again. Skeppy just having a horrible race. A race he wants to forget. Here goes Ginger taking a look. Going to try it at the back straight away. Yeah, Cookie's going to come out, I think, about P13, P14. FinFan already back up into P16. How much will this hurt Cookie? Because he's got to make up all that time again. Ginger to the left side. Side by side with the McLaren. They both lock up. Ginger on the power. Makes it work. In the pits goes Cookie. Let's see, where does he rejoin? He's going to be right behind a gaggle of cars. Right in front of the sister team of Q-Man. He's going to come out P11, actually. That's really good for him. So we got more scrapping for P9. Oh, keep it clean, boys. Keep it clean. Oh, that's close. Got a battle up here for P3. Taylor and Unknown up the inside. Taylor might still be there. Unknown covers him off. Ginger already up into P7. Here comes Zuback. You got side-by-side racing in the midfield. Joe stays ahead of Fern. Burroughs in the P5, might as well, I might add, in the Williams. FinFan up in the P15. You got Cookie looking on this battle, licking his chops. Zoo and Joe go into battle. Zoo got a really, really big tank slapper, a Texas-sized tank slapper. Coming out of them double left-handers, he's got AlphaTauri of Taylor on unknown. Can't do anything. Ginger Horizon to the right side of Raffle. Makes it work. More battling back in the midfield. Cookie really starting to close up on the back of this group. Cookie going to lose quite a bit of time here, but FinFan still a solid 10 seconds back of this. Let's see what Cookie does from the wing view. Side by side. Oh, really good drawing by Cookie there. Got a racing point, still fighting out with the Mercedes of Joe. Joe backs out of it. Cookie takes a peek up this second McLaren. Does Zoo, please Zoo, fight it back. Don't let Cookie get it. Make it hard on Cookie. Hold your own. Hold your own, boy. Oh, he lost it. No, 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 no. Oh, he kept it out of the wall. He kept it. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's close racing right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now Joe and Raffle got a Red Bull in the mirror, and it's not Max Verstappen. It's not Superman. It's Boss Cookie. Cookie just absolutely slicing and dicing through this field like a knife on butter. Joe trying to set up a move now on Raffle, while also looking back on Cookie. See Raffle, then he sees Cookie in his mirror. They're 3 wide! They're 3 wide! Oh, is the Haas really lost it back there? That was Sergeant Milk letting them through, but 3 wide heading into the hairpin. And Cookie gets both of them. And Cookie sets his sight now on the top 5. He's about a second and a half back of Burrups, who's about 2 3/4 of a second back behind Ginger, who is closing in on this battle for P2 to P4. Oh, big tank slapper for Ritzy. That's going to open up the door for the AlphaTauri of Taylor up the inside. Good move. Battling back in the back between Swifty and Q-Man. If the thing would let me switch between people, which it's not. Thank you, F1 game, for doing such a great job. These guys fighting out Q-Man up into P14. Cookie and Burrups. Look at this. Burrups, hold your own. Oh, he's got Joe right on his gearbox as well. Then a racing point in McLaren. You got FinFan with a time penalty already trying to make his way up through the field. He's only up to P12. Ritzy has a problem. Ritzy has a problem down the back straightaway. He falls to P5. Ginger into P4. Taylor P3. Back here for P7, you got Joe and Burrups. Burrups starting to fall back a little bit as the tires wear. Oh, he gives a little nudge, just a little nudge. Little kiss there to the Mercedes. Fern and Raff. Oh, side by side through the final corner. That's not going to work, boys, but they somehow make it do. Fern, send it. Yeet it. Yeet it up the inside. He does. Racing point goes a little wide. Side by side. Fern gets it. Back up into P4, Ginger on the AlphaTauri. Cookie is already closed up about a 15-second deficit. And he is now only about 9.5 seconds behind the race leader after going through 5 cars. See what Ginger can do. Yellow flag through sector 3. Keep the comments going, ladies and gentlemen. We were averaging between 43 and 50 people. Absolutely mental. As Q-Man picks up a penalty. Got Ginger on Ritzy. Does he make it work? Taylor defends. Side by side through the braking zone. Side by side back there too with Cookie and Ritzy. Ritzy overshoots it. He holds his own. Cookie's going to have to wait. Taylor and Ginger. Ginger P3. Taylor P4. Cookie trying to make a move on Ritzy. Ritzy holds his own. Ritzy defending hard, trying not to open up the door. Cookie, oh, Cookie, really tight. Around the outside, Ritzy leaves him no room. Oh, they're banging wheels. I think Ritzy might have lost part of his wing. Oh, who's at fault there? Is it Ritzy or Cookie? That might be sent to the stewards. We saw a physical wing come off of there. Now Ritzy's going to have to deal with a partially broken wing for at least 5 more laps, I'd say. 4 or 5 more laps with a hungry Mercedes behind him. Oh, you can see how much time he's losing through the middle sector. Already lost a second. With the battle heating up again for P2. Ginger is clawing his way through the field. FinFan only up into P12. I might want to change my picks halfway through the race. Is it like one of them DraftKings things where I can change my picks halfway through the race and it'll still count? Chandler saying Ritzy's in contention for a Ferrari seat. Interesting. Got a pretty good driver here in FinFan and Ginger. Ginger closing up on the back of Unknown. Unknown goes for a really late defensive move. No need to do that there. He had 2 or 3 car lengths to play with there. James saying, put me in, coach. I can drive it. Rhodes asking how much his self-worth is as a driver. Rhodes, we're not going to get into it. Ginger hounding, trying to get around Unknown before Cookie passes Taylor. Yellow flag through sector 2. Skeppy once again struggling. Switty Pickle, another time penalty. About a third of the way through the race already. Cookie and Taylor started getting a little feisty. The sister Red Bull versus the main man Red Bull. If I'm Cookie, I want to make quick work of Taylor. He's already closed in from 9.5 seconds down to about 6 3/4 of a second now. 7 actually. So I mean, he's still gaining. He's gaining time even in traffic. And if you're Ginger, you want to get around Unknown as quick as possible, preferably before Cookie gets around Taylor. Does Ginger go for the move? Unknown try. Does he have it? Oh, undercross a little bit. He sends him deep. Ginger tries to do the switchback. Taylor and Cookie battling it out. Cookie gets around Taylor. And Ginger is up into P2. But unfortunately, Ginger sees the closing Cookie just 3 seconds behind him. Is everybody really starting to get spread out here actually as well? Taylor trying to hold on to the back of Cookie. Not sure how well that's going to play out here. And we have a report Q, man, is going to be quitting this after this race. Wow, one of our DNFers. We do have 3 DNFers. We got a problem with Ritzy. What has happened to Ritzy? He must have wrecked. He's already fallen down to P9. Fern up into P8. Burrott's P7. Now Ritzy's dropped to P10. Something has happened to the Renault driver. So we got a battle starting to emerge between the Williams and McLaren. Going to start getting close to pit stop time within 2 or 3 laps. Some people might want to go a little bit early and try to get off some more enders, maybe around lap 12 or 13. Some of them might want to just split down the middle between lap 13 and lap 15. And some of them might go a little long if the tire wear is pretty good, particular for, depending on your setup, the pressures and such depends on how much temperature the tire gets in. So that changes how much tire wear there is. So if you're a little bit better on tire wear, maybe go lap 16 or 17 potentially. So you're really good at the end. Fern trying to get around Burrops. Side by side. Fern really deep. And Burrops should be able to easily hold this, hold the phone. Fern gets a really good exit, just letting it rev out in 3rd and 4th. He's going to keep the inside. Oh, still side by side. Burrops holding his own in the Williams. Somebody tell Claire Williams to sign him instead of Nicholas Latifi. Get this man a Williams F1 drive. Cookie's starting to close in on Unknown. And Ginger just praying. As he's really starting to close in on Nordal, might I add. Ginger really starting to make inroads. He started outside the top 10, I believe, actually. And he's really slicing his dice and up his way through the field. I think Ginger actually started P14, P15. Maybe even further. I don't even think he qualified. But if I'm Ginger, I'm wanting to see Unknown battle his absolute heart out with Cookie. As Ginger is really making inroads once again. Wow. Cookie out of the snail section trying to make a move on Unknown. He looks just a little bit too far. The gap is only 3 car lengths. 2.5. 2. Not close enough as Ginger has really started closing in as well on Norda. I think he might have made a mistake. As he really closed in, then really gapped it. Now he's really closing in again. That looked like a warning right there. Good thing that's not a time penalty. As we have Unknown and Cookie. Cookie's going to go into the pits. He's going to go early and try to jump a couple of these guys. Does he? No, he doesn't. He doesn't speed. As we've got Joe and Taylor now starting to battle it out for essentially a top 5 spot. As I don't think FinFan can get up there. FinFan has gotten too many penalties and has just not been able to make his way through the field. So here we go, possibly side by side. The Mercedes up the inside. No, he backs out of it. And now we have a battle for the lead. Ginger Horizon in the Ferrari has caught the Red Bull of Neudel. Oh, really late on the brakes here. Cookie fell down to P11, might I add as well. So for the next few laps, he's going to be in some heavy traffic. Neudel gets a really good exit. Hoopalicious laughing because Fern got overtaken by a Williams. Fern, what are you doing? I thought you were a Tier 1 driver. Ginger not close enough here. Right on the back gearbox, though, ready to pounce. Joe, does he go for a move on Taylor? Yes, he yeets it up the inside. Oh, they're really close to each other. Oh, he's spinning the rear wheels in 4th gear. Still side by side. Taylor's lost it. Taylor's lost it. Oh, he's pulled a Alexander Albon from 2018 here in a practice session, and he has lost it. Wow. No bueno. Ginger still trying to find a way around Neudel. Doesn't get a good enough exit here. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's only a car length and a half back. He needs it off the inside. That was such a late move. Neudel does the switch back. Neudel with the momentum. Does Ferrari keep the inside? No, he cannot. Mean Fern still hounding the back of the Williams driver. Fern, this is kind of sad. You can't pass the Williams. Really being cautious. Cookie not able to make any work yet on Raffle. Neudel gets a time penalty. Neudel gets a time penalty. That is no bueno. That's not going to be giving him any Canadian pesos. Ginger once again trying to use the ERS. He's got a lot more than Neudel. This is going to be really good for him. He's got plenty of ERS. He's got the slipstream. Come on, send it, mate. Send it. Neudel defends. Side by side. Neudel very aggressive on the brakes. Here comes Ginger with the switchback. They're side by side. He does it. Ginger into the lead of the race. If I'm Ginger, I know Cookie is in traffic, so pit this lap. Pit this lap. If I'm Neudel, I'm doing the same thing. Doing whatever Ginger does, because Neudel is struggling. Neudel, oh, he really tried to send it there. That would have been bad. Ed saying, don't mess with Fern. Okay, talk to me when you make it up from Tier 2. Cookie sets fastest lap of the race. Like I said, if I'm Ginger or Neudel, I know he's in traffic, but as soon as I see that he sets fastest lap of the race, I'm diving in the pits right now. Fern still trying to get around the Williams. To be fair, the Williams is a lot closer to the midfield. But still. Starting to see drivers in the back starting to pit as well as you see Reptile head in. Want to see what the gap to the leader is. Cookie is 27 seconds back, which is perfect. That should be enough since the delta is about 21, 22 seconds around here. That should be perfect for Ginger. And he's still in traffic. Cookie's going to have to deal with traffic for a few more laps as well, so. Fern still trying to navigate way past the Williams driver of Burrups, who's defending beautifully, might I add. Absolutely beautifully. Got a lot of ERS to work with here. I'm sure Burrups is going to defend. No, wow, Fern going to go up the inside. Does he outbrake himself? Burrups attempts the switchback. Can't quite do it, and now that is Fern up into P6. So we've got Unknown, one of the first top guys to go into the pits. Where does he rejoin? Burrups with a 3-second time penalty. That's no bueno. Chandler's saying he has his eye on Burrups. Unknown going to wind up being a good chunk of change behind Cookie. This Cookie's now up into P7. I'm surprised Ginger and Neudel are staying on track. As Cookie, he's still staying around 27 seconds back, but there's going to be a point where, you know, Ginger and Neudel, I'm sure the tires aren't completely worn, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're nearing 40 or 50%. And there's going to be a time when they really start to drop off, and Cookies are going to be a lot fresher, obviously, and work better. I'm not sure if that's going to be, now or maybe lap 18 or 19, but it's better to stay ahead of the curve while you've got a little bit of time to play with. Look at there, Cookie gained half a second through the first 2 sectors alone. If I'm them, I want to pit now because you're going to come out in front of them and be on fresher tires. So don't quite understand the logic as Cookie making some inroads on Burrots. Burrots, I don't know how easily he's going to give this up. Cookie down to 26 seconds. He's down gaining almost a second a lap. Come on, boys, you got to pit. Nordal pits this lap. I'm sure Horizon will be in the next lap or two. Nordal gets a time penalty for speeding as Cookie sends it up the inside. Oh, him and Burrots made contact. I heard the sound there where Burrots made contact. Where does Nordal rejoin? It's going to be close to Cookie. Cookie sets fastest lap of the race. Nordal's going to come out right actually behind. No, right beside Cookie. They're side by side. The Red Bull drivers. If I'm Ginger, whoever Ginger's manager is, I think that's Chandler. Chandler, tell your driver to pit. Nordal was a few seconds behind, and he just comes out right behind Cookie now. Ginger has got to pit this lap if he wants to come out ahead. Nordal played that easy for Cookie. Who knows? Nordal might have a crack at the end of the race, but Cookie is showing dominance right now. How much does Fern fight this? Gap to Cookie is 26 seconds now from Horizon. It took Nordal about 24 seconds. Granted, he had a 5-second penalty to serve as well. From the overhead view, oh, a little bit close there between the McLaren and the Red Bull. I think Ginger Horizon stays on track once again as Cookie sends it up the inside, makes the move work. Fern trying to defend from Nordal now, who's trying to hang on to the back of his teammate. And Horizon stays out another lap. Wow. I wish I could see how bad Horizon's tires are. Because I wouldn't think he could make it in the race. There's got to be no way. We've got Nordal sending up the inside of Fern. He's going to squeeze him out. Nordal up into P5, net P3. Can he claw back within reach of his teammate? He does have 4-lap fresher tires. And the gap from Ginger to Cookie is just under 26 seconds. Nordal holding par though. Saying right after a second there. I'm sure right now, there's only a 4-lap difference, so we're not going to really see it. But when we get to the final 5 laps or so in the race, I'm sure we're really going to start seeing it. Because Cookie's tires are really going to start to fall off. Let's see, does Horizon pit this lap? Looking at the mini-map. Yes, sir, Horizon is in. Horizon is in the pits. Let's see what the gap is from him to Cookie. Is Cookie and Nordal still only separated by about a second? Joe is in as well in the Mercedes. Expect him to come out about P9 or so. Horizon leaving the pit lane. Him versus Cookie. This is going to be close. Cookie's only 2 seconds back. Ginger Horizon retains the lead. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're going to have a 3-way fight on our hands, boys. Cookie, who pitted 5 laps earlier, hunting down Ginger Horizon. Ginger Horizon on the freshest tires, just pitted. And Nordal, Cookie's teammate, P3. Looking back through the field, we got a nice little scrap here. Burrops and Unknown. Burrops has yet to pit. Quite surprising. Unknown yeets it up the inside of the Williams. Oh, pretty close. Got to leave room. Unknown's through. But how close How quickly can Cookie catch Horizon? Will he use up his stuff to get around him? Because I say in about 5 or 6 laps, then Cookie's tires are really going to start to feel effect, while Horizon's are going to feel nice, easy breezy. Let me know in the chat, boys, who do y'all think the order is from 1 to 3? Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? Or who do you think is going to be the podium in order? Still not able to adjust the driver select. Okie dokie. Look at the race director. He has 2 warnings but no penalty. Cookie does have a 3-second time penalty. And Neudel has a 3-second time penalty as well. So Neudel in the lead has no time penalties, and both Cookie and Neudel do have penalties. So not only is Cookie going to have to get around Horizon, but he's going to have to build a 3-second gap. Ritzy and Raff on mediums, that is not the way to go. However, it has stopped raining. That could come to play at the end too. We could see in the final 4 or 5 laps, it could be dry enough that they go on to soft tires. This is going to be really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It's not quite right enough yet, but maybe in about 2 laps or so, we could actually start seeing 4 or 5 laps. It's definitely going to be dry enough. But the thing is, do you wait maybe 2 laps and go into the mediums? Because obviously, harder compound tire, better in the slick. Or do you, maybe wait 3 laps so you're a definite on the softs? It's going to be interesting. A lot of people like to wait and see until you get the DRS enabled here. Race implications, ladies and gentlemen. Race implications. Joe and Fern starting to battle on the backstretch. You got Mean Fern in a Mercedes sandwich. Got Ginger Horizon setting the fastest lap of the race. He's actually gaining on Cookie. Wow, he is actually pulling away. I'd say about 2 or 3 more laps here before the inners, you can take them off. But I'm going to assume people are going to go to the softs. And Terry, you just jinxed the race. Congratulations. Raffle, a lapper, please get out of the way, and he does so dutifully. Oh, as I say that, but he is ghosted. Fern and Unknown. Unknown trying to search a way past. Does he look up the inside? Oh, he really overshot it there. Brakes hard. No contact, though. None whatsoever, but makes the move work, and now he sets sight on his teammate. Still a lot of spray out there. I still think it's 2 or 3 laps out. Really slick there, as you can see from Unknown. Yellow flag in Sector 3. I believe that is for Ritzy, who is getting off the mediums. A little bit too early there, mate. A little bit too early. Burroughs might be right conditions to pit. If so, that means he'd take him about 21, 22 laps. That is going to be absolutely monumental. But GG's to him if he can do that. Fern trying to stay within reach there, not working. Taylor on Burroughs. This should be easy pickings here. Yep, can be easily done. Burroughs is not even going to fight it. He knows he's on set for top 9 still, which is, solid points. Maybe P8, P7. So, going to try here. Yellow flag. It looks like FinFan has gone off a bit. Yeah, he's stopped on the racetrack, just trying to get going now. Not good. Burroughs is in the pit. Does he go onto dries? It's still pretty wet. You can still see quite a bit of spray here. So let's see what he does here. Does he go to the mediums maybe? 8 laps on the mediums. It's sort of about a lap or two away from the transition period. He's going on the softs. He's going on the softs. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he does here. Oh, really slipping and sliding out of the pit lane. Whoa, goodness me. This is not Tokyo Drift. Like I said, I'd wait about another 2 laps potentially. 2 laps. And I think it'd be good. Right now, it's just still too slick. You look at that. Look at the spray off the tires. You can see a little bit off the back, particularly off the front. Because I think it's cloudy. The sun's shining. If the sun's shining, obviously the track is going to dry quicker. But it's cloudy as all get out right there. So it's going to take, double the time, actually, probably, to clear the standing water, any spray. And he's struggling. You got Fern struggling now as he made a mistake. He's done 20 laps on his inners as well. Same position as Burrops. Of a puncture. I think he does. I think it's the left front tire. I think Bean Fern has a puncture. Yep, he does. Yep, he has a puncture. Not good for the McLaren driver. His day just got from okay to a lot worse. Back on board with Burrops. He's slipping and sliding a little bit, but it's getting better. There's not nearly as much spray. And who is going to be the first one to venture into the pits? If you're Horizon or Cookie, you've got to wait until it says DRS enabled, in my opinion. If you go right now, it's just going to be too much of a gamble. I'd rather wait a lap until DRS is enabled and know for sure we're good versus going just a lap too early and losing 4 or 5 seconds. Mainfern Edson in the pits now, going to come out in front of Burrops. But Burrops trying. Mainfern goes back out on the inners. Wow. Quite a lot of spray from the inners there versus Burrops, who not much spray. So I'm going to expect maybe around lap 24, 25 here. I said within 5 laps, within 4 or 5 laps, and we're hitting with 6.5 laps to go here. So we got Cookie starting to close in just a little bit more. He dropped back to about 2.5, 2 3/4 of a second. It's now down to 2. Do either of these drivers choose to pit yet? Nope. DRS still not enabled yet as we are working our way onto lap 23. Cookie slowly, yep, he sets a 43.8, fastest lap of the race. He closed in by about 3/10 that lap, even though he's on much older tires. So let's stay focused with our leaders here for just a moment. We got FinFan and Burrops actually battling now. FinFan gets around on the inners. Yeah, still quite a lot of spray working there. You see him having to move a little bit off the normal racing line though. Who knows? The spray may stick around with the, like I said, it takes about double the time with cloudy conditions for the spray and the water to dissipate. So who knows? We might have a few, go to the end of the race. It may not actually hit DRS enabled until lap 26 or so. So who knows? It may not appear at all. So we'll just have to wait and see. As FinFan's actually starting to really close onto the back of Phantom. Cookie maintaining at about 1.92 seconds. Phantom trying to score in the points. Yeah, Burrops has lost about 7 seconds here. Granted, he is in a Williams, but still too much time loss, I'd say. I'd say inners still are the way to go. But you see him really starting to search for good wet track. See if FinFan can make it work. Still a lot of spray off the inners. Oh, really having to take evasive action there to avoid hitting the racing point. Cookie losing about 3/4 of a second now. Yeah, we're hitting lap 24. I think we might go to the end on inners. Like I said, unless we see, DRS enabled between now and lap 26, I think these boys might stick it out on the inners, actually. Burrop's just losing a ton of time, actually, on the softs. Yeah, really having to take it easy. It's weird. You don't see a lot of spray coming off them, but, you know, a ton of spray right here. I think these boys might stick it out. Cookie's got to do some work here. 4.5 laps to go. He's got to gain 3. He's got to gain 6 seconds, actually. Because remember, Horizon does not have a penalty. Fan tucked into the slipstream. ERS engaged on Phantom. He sends it. Phantom tries to hold it around the outside. Fan does a little bit of cheeky blocking there. A little cheeky. As Fan gets a penalty. A little bit of karma there for the cheeky blocking. Don't think Phantom can come back here. Phantom on 11 lap enders. Fan on 4 lap ones. And Cookie continues to lose time. Yep, we've hit that point where Cookie's tower is going to be a lot worse within 5 laps of the end of the race. A lot worse than Horizon's. Looking back here for P11, Burrop still struggling on the softs. Got to give it to him for at least trying, though. But Reptile looking up the inside in the Haas. As they've got leaders behind them. Blue flags. And the Haas driver moves up to P11. Yellow flag, Sector 1. What have we got going on? What do we have going on? I think it might be Burrops. I think something's happened to Burrops. Yeah, something's happened to him in Sector 1. We can't quite see. Oh, he was stuck on the side of the track. Wow. I had to wreak a little havoc. Our top boys give us a good scare. Joe really starting to close in on the podium positions of Neudel. He's closed it down from 3 1/4 seconds down to a 2 3/4. In just about 2 laps here. Trying to get on to the podium. Cookie really starting to lose time now. It's Ginger Horizon's race to lose, I believe, with 3.5 laps to go. Tell us in the chat, boys, who do you think is driver of the day? Give us a couple picks here for driver of the day. Who do y'all think it'll be? Who do you think deserves it? Right now, I got to give it to Ginger Horizon for making his way up through the field outside the top 15. And he's leading the race now. Absolutely incredible. Having to fend off Cookie and Neudel. So we got Joe really starting to, as Cookie picks up another penalty. Cookie may actually, no, because Neudel has a time penalty as well. Cookie really struggling here late. Neudel picks up a time penalty. So that should be easy pickings for Joe here, assuming he doesn't have time penalties or only has 3. And I tell you, I think one of the themes of this race has to be, you know, your prowess in the wet and the jump start by Cookie and Fin-Fan. Fin-Fan has still not been able to recover fully. He's P9, Cookie P and P2, but is going to lose the race, which he had a really good shot at winning. Horizon, gotta talk about the drive by him, coming up from outside the top 15 to in the lead. Absolutely phenomenal. Got Joe and Neudel who have been right in the midst all race, unknown as well. Both the Mercedes, P4, P5, his own as well. And AlphaTauri, P6. Got to talk about the midfield battles with the McLarens as well. P7, P8, good races by them. And once again, you got to say a disappointing race for Fin-Fan in P9. I think Ritzy expected to be a little bit better. I think Raffle expected to be a little bit better as well. Both of them sitting outside the points. As we now are closing on 2 laps to go, and Joe looking for a way past Neudel. Probably going to have to wait here. He has a lot more ERS, so I'd say just sit tight here, and you'll make your way around him. He will. Little love tap there saying, hey, a little bit quicker. I'm a little bit quicker than you, doing the good old short track Rubbins Racing Bristol tap. One bump just saying, hey, I'm here. Two bumps saying, all right, you're starting to tick me off. Get out of the way. I'm quicker. Third tap, you're sending them. But you got to be a little bit more cordial in F1, unfortunately. And as Unknown picks up a penalty. Yeah, Chandler Sutter, definitely. The jump start killed FinFan. He had a really good shot at a top 3, top 4 run. And pretty easily a top 5. And he could make his way through traffic, got time penalties, and he's P9. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Ferrari drivers do. The Ferrari manager, Chandler, and Hoop, a couple of the managers, Ferrari. Who do they choose? Burrots has been a really good candidate. Just really got out of luck there with the tire and the weather strategy. I thought it might switch to, slick conditions. Just with the cloudy conditions, it just hasn't. The track hasn't dried enough. So Burrots possibly to Ferrari, replacing FinFan. Maybe they give him one more race. Who knows? Maybe they say, okay, FinFan just really got screwed over with traffic there. Maybe give him another race, or do they give him the boot? Who knows? It comes down to how much can the managers afford. Yeah, he did have a couple spins, FinFan did. So not entirely out of his, part of it out of his control, part of it in his control. He definitely could have been higher up if he could have controlled a little bit more, but it's going to be a disappointing race for him, and Ferrari are going to have a major talking to at the end of the race. Does Cookie have a puncture? Yes, he does. Cookie has a puncture. Cookie has a puncture in the Red Bull. This throws the podium wide open. Joe and Neudel are battling. They've got to see this up ahead and think, ooh, me, lock it. They got to be chomping at the bit here as Cookie is actually going to do another lap. What are you doing, Cookie? You're doing another lap with the puncture. He screwed his race away like he did last week at Bahrain, but he was still able to hold a podium. He has 2 penalties here, and he's trying to race with a puncture. He's about to have a very feisty Neudel and Joe here. This is all going to come to a head here. Does he screw over his teammate? No, they're still side by side for P2 though. Joe and Neudel. Oh, they touch! They touch! They touch! Oh, goodness me! Now can Joe somehow get a podium? Oh my gosh, who wins? A puncture or wing damage? This is incredible! And that looked entirely Joe's fault there. Joe went a little bit wide. He touched Neudel. Neudel, he was just trying to control the thing there. That was not Neudel's fault. That was all Joe there. He did that to himself. Who wins? Cookie's puncture or Joe's wing damage? And we got Unknown coming as well from P5. This is all for the 3rd podium position. Joe closing on Cookie. Unknown closing on him. Oh my goodness me. But coming around the penultimate corner, Ginger Horizon has played it easy. As dear runner. It's going to be a win for Ginger Horizon. Noodle's going to take P2. Joe and Cookie battling for P3. Oh my gosh. Wing versus puncture. Wing versus puncture. Who sends it the most? Here comes Unknown as well. Oh, Cookie. Cookie ran into the back of Joe. Joe trying to hold off his teammate for P3. Cookie's wrecked. Cookie has wrecked. What is going on at the end of this race? Who gets the final podium? It's going to be Joe. Joe goes on to P2. Neudel had too many penalties. Unknown P4. Cookie P5, except for if Taylor could get him. No. Oh my gosh. Cookie went from P2 to P5 on the final lap. Neudel loses P2 to Joe, and Unknown couldn't get around his teammate. Oh my gosh, Z is going to come in P7. Fern looking P8, rounding out the points positions. Phantom might get points here. Fern, P8. And then we got a long way back, a lonely Ferrari. It looks like Sebastian Vettel, after Ferrari mechanics have tampered with his chassis. Ham Newton saying typical boss Cookie. Let's get a laughing emotes, laughing Pepe emotes in the chat for Cookie. Because it seems like he always bends it somehow, some way. His FinFan wrecks across the line. And Phantom coming across the line in the final points position. Zooming off of penalties. We'll see here. Yes, he does. All right, crazy, crazy race. And let's get our podium finishers in here for podium interviews. Wow, what a race. Hoop says he's going to have a serious debrief tonight with his drivers. But there you go, Ginger Horizon, the Jamaican, getting the win. Enjoy it. You got a Ferrari, Mercedes, and a Red Bull on the podium. Wow, looks like real life. But a Ferrari tops up the podium, you'd never see that today. Phantom said his tires were at 93% at the end. Wow, looks like Phantom knows how to do something good. Managed tire wear. And here we go. P1 Ginger, P2 Joe, Nordal P3. A lot of it coming down to penalties here. Nordal had 11 seconds worth. Unknown P4. Cookie falling back to P5 at the end. But he does pick up an extra point for fastest lap. Taylor, a solid run in P6. Zoo, P7. Mean Firm, P8. Solid effort for the McLarens. About where you'd expect. P9 is Fin Fan. Phantom closing out the points with P10. Fin Fan got to be disappointed with P9. Cookie disappointed with P5. Ritzy just outside the points in P11 after starting an excellent sits. Reptile P12 just able to come home clean. I'm sure he wanted to scrape together some points, but P12 is solid. It's Me P13. Raffle P14. Swifty P15. Skeppy, what such a disappointing race. You never expect that out of him. P16. Burrups DNF there, P17. Q-Man DNF. Sergeant Milk DNF. And Wives DNF. Let's get these drivers in the party podiums. Wrong, Phantom. Wrong. And it must be easy to get points when you're in Tier 4. And you're given a racing point for the realistic performance tier. 41 viewers still. We have averaged between 40 and 50 viewers all stream. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely amazing, guys. Be sure to keep supporting. Let's get Noidal in here. Let's get Joe in here. And let's get Ginger Horizon. And he's already left. Ginger, you've already left. Get back in here. Trying to get him in through my friends list. And he is not even appearing online. Wow. Joe or Nordal, be sure to include y'all's audio. Is Ginger Horizon still showing online, or did he duck out?
He's still online, I think.
All right, can one of y'all invite him? Because I'm not seeing him online for some reason. There we go. We got our race winner in. All right, so start off with P3. Noidal getting on the podium there. You had a lot of penalties. You had 11 seconds worth, which cost you a P2. But, you know, it's still a strong showing. You beat your teammate. Granted, he had a puncture. But you beat your teammate. That's got to feel pretty good getting a P3.
Yeah. It doesn't feel I should be celebrating, but it's been a tough week for me. But someone took out the pit lane board, which I didn't know where to brake, and then just the tires were gone, so I had to slide it about. I had to extend, but yeah, tough week. But I'm happy with Prix.
Yeah, it was tough because when obviously you compared to a teammate like Cookie, you have high expectations. But I mean, still, you held a solid performance with P3. I mean, you've got to have a little bit of momentum to continue on because no matter what, a podium's a podium, and it's got to be a little bit of a confidence booster that to know, hey, you know, it wasn't a great weekend, but you're still able to salvage a podium in the end.
Yeah, you're right. You know, a podium's podium. You know, when you're going up against Boss Cookie and you've got a team manager like Hoopalicious, you know, you've got to press, which my qualifying pace wasn't the best. The car kept sliding with a dry setup practice, but just came in with it. Got a podium for the team. Hopefully, Hooplicious and Bosco P will be happy about that.
Yep, great result for you and for the team. Now let's move on to our P2 driver, Joe. I don't think I've ever seen a driver with 1 lap to go with a broken wing finish P2. How'd you do it?
Yeah, at the end it was I was going side by side. I lost a little bit oversteer into the wall, but good thing my suspension didn't go. I hit the wall pretty hard, but I just limped around the track. It got close at the end with Andre and Cookie, but I got lucky and made it across line P2. And Leighton had all the penalties, so it helped me out to get up on the podium.
Yeah, really good recovery there. With literally 1 lap to go, we were on board with you, and that was just a mistake on your own. So I'm sure you were devastated for the first few seconds, but I'm sure since you realized that Cookie had a puncture, and then Nordal had a bunch of penalties. Did you know about the penalties with Nordal? Did you know that you still had a shot at P2 if you could get around Cookie?
Yeah, I knew that he had at least 5 seconds, but I didn't know he had the other 6 because he spit in the pit lane. But I thought P3 was the best I could get, but when I crossed line P2, I was happy.
Yeah, you definitely got to be with a P2. An excellent rebound race from Bahrain last week was not a really good season opener for you. So this has to bring some confidence. How are you looking forward to the next couple of races on the schedule?
I believe the next race is Zandvoort, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's correct.
Or Spain.
Let me
Yeah,
check
Spain.
real quick, actually. It is
Is
Spain. Spain.
Zandvoort
and-
taken out.
Oh, Spain.
Oh wait, no, it hasn't.
Good Spain. So
I feel
how are
decent
you
about
faring for your chances?
Spain. I feel okay around Spain, but Zandvoort is definitely one of my better tracks on the game this year. So I hope I can get a good position in that race.
Yep. Good luck to you in those races and an excellent result today. But to the man of the hour, Ginger Horizon. I mean, you came out from outside the top 15, snaked your way through the field. Cookie had a problem at the start, and so did FinFan, having to do a drive-through. And you pitted a little bit late so you could have fresh inners at the end, and you made it work. You won the race. How does it feel?
Yeah, I thought this race was gonna be like damage limitation, so I thought I was gonna get like P3 or P4 at most. But obviously, I heard that my teammate and Cookie had a penalty at the start, so I was like, alright, it's cool. Obviously, I cut my way through the field, did it pretty quick, and just focused on the Red Bull and kept them behind, so I won. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good job. The Red Bulls and the Mercedes drivers definitely aren't any slouches. So, being able to take the bit by the teeth and get up there and do that for the Ferrari team has got to be really good. I'm sure your manager's going to be happy. But you mentioned this. This was one of those races you were about ready to write off. You were expecting P3 to P5. So to know that you were able to capitalize like today and generally have the pace to run up, P1, P2, does that, bring a little bit of confidence for you towards the rest of the season that you could possibly fight for the championship?
Yeah, I mean, 2 wins in 2, it's definitely a good start. So I'm just hoping to carry the momentum throughout the whole season.
Absolutely. That is our podium finishers, ladies and gentlemen. Nordal getting P3, Joe P2, and P1 in our race winner for round number 2 in the realistic performance tier. It is Ginger Horizon at the Chinese Grand Prix. And thank you all so much for tuning in. We hit over 50 viewers at one time. Absolutely amazing, averaging between 40 and 50. And while we're here, got to give a huge shout out to our affiliates. Got to give a shout out to GT Racing US for the most comfortable gaming chairs on the sim racing and gaming market. Got to give a shout out to Gamer Grind Co. It's the coffee you need to energize your day and your game. Got to give a shout out to Rogue Energy. If you need a little bit of a boost that's not in the morning, just a good old energizer whenever you need it while gaming, check out Rogue Energy. Teespring, it's who makes our wonderful merch at BRL. Give a shout out to them for the incredible designs and the incredible support, as well as Into the AM. If you want to look around looking stylish around New York, around Charlotte, around whatever, if you just want to look stylish, go into the AM and get the amazing apparel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Absolutely been amazing. Congratulations to all our podium finishers, and we will see you all next week at the Spain Grand Prix. Thank you, and good night.